kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
And welcome to Talladega Superspeedway as we get ready for tonight's Racers Elite Nextgen series. It's all about survival. If you can survive the race tonight as we go 75 laps here at Talladega. I'm Alan Bergen. Join with me is my good buddy Daniel Paulus, and running in the background tonight will be John Leach. Daniel, how's it going?
It's going fantastic, Alan. I'm really excited to get this race underway because I know it's going to be a whole bundle of joy.
So last week we were in Michigan, whole different animal, whole different ball game as these guys are getting lined up, and we're gonna go over the points as they come into Talladega tonight. So right now in the points lead, a little bit of points. In the lead is Brandon Poffenbarger with 2,089 points, and Corey Crowell is in second position with 2,049 points. The way the points work, Daniel, is if you lead a lap in this race series, you get a bonus point for every lap that you lead. So with that being said, it's all about where you finish. Every point matters, Daniel.
You're so right about that, Alan. And like you said, anybody that leads a lap gets a point. Also, the driver that gets a pole gets the point as well. As you see right there, the field now rolling here at Talladega. And last week we were at Michigan. Austin John Smith, he got the win when he was actually absent from the first race at Las Vegas. So he could be a potential winning here again tonight. But right there, you see the 4 of Dennis Kane and the 3 of Gordon Spain.
Yeah, and we're going to get to the grid right now as Dennis Kane won the pole tonight. He had a good run last night, Daniel. He was kind of one of those drivers, the Chicken Coop Motorsports, who came 1, 2, 3. Gordon Spain. He's running that Dale Earnhardt tribute scheme, and that scheme won here some years back with Kenny Wallace pushing him to the finish. And P3 got Michael Smith. He's one of those guys who qualified real well. P4 is John Schoenbachler. P5 will be Andrew Teft. P6 will be Joshua Neal. Alex Teft will be P7. P8 will be Jeremy Carter. Brad Hayes will be starting P8 or 9. P10 will be Paul Shaw. Truth Hoke will be starting P11. P12 will be Brandon Poffenbarger. Kinsley Smith will be starting. P13. Go ahead.
All right, starting P13, we're going to have Brendan Zimmerman, 14th Kensley Smith, 15th Austin Smith, 16th Diego Rodriguez, 17th Zach Lockett, 18th Corey Carell, 19th Aaron Colahaas, 20th Aaron Colahaas, my bad, 21st David Emmy, 22nd Michael Brooks, 23rd Marshall Harris, 24th Brandon Honeycutt, 26th Thomas Stanley, 27th Dwayne McMahon. As the green flag drops, we are underway here from Talladega.
Yeah, Daniel, Dennis Kane got off to a fiery start, but here at Talladega, you don't want to get out to a big lead like we pointed out last night in the Xfinity Series. As we are headed down to turn number 1. And these guys are 2x2, Daniel. 2x2, inside, outside. And it's going to be like a freight train. It's going to be a game of tug of war all night. So I want you to watch that inside line and that outside line, as one line's going to be trying to think they're further ahead than the other.
These drivers are going to be side drafting, using the draft. See the first caution out here tonight on lap 1 from Talladega.
Yeah, so right now we're looking at. All right, we got the first caution out of the night. Looks like Paul Shaw went off the track. It looks like there's a little bit of a dust up there, but nonetheless, we're gonna have the first caution tonight. So a lot of times, Daniel, it's not a question of if the big one will happen. It's the question of when will the big one happen.
It can happen at any time here, Alan. And these drivers, I interviewed Jeremy Carter earlier on, and he said in this next gen car, you don't want to be pushing into the tri-oval, and you don't want to be pushing coming out of the turns, because if you push them just slightly wrong on that quarter panel, the guy in front of you, that could send them right around and cause a big one. So it's really on how this pushing is going to go. And you're going to be looking around, seeing what drivers push really well and what drivers you want to try to avoid here tonight.
For sure. So Daniel, as we're getting these guys lined up here, I want to point out again, this is the Next Gen Series tonight, and these cars, Daniel, are a little bit looser then the trucks would be here, or say the Xfinity cars. So these guys are going to have their handful. And the closing rate, I want you to watch the closing rate, Daniel, on these cars, as these cars close a little bit faster than the Xfinity's cars do. And so they're, it's not just what everybody would think of Talladega is you can run it wide open. You got to use a little bit of throttle control too.
And you see drivers, Alan, where they're on that top line and they're trying to get to that inside line. If it does end up being like a snake line formation, you're going to see drivers try to slide in a line to that inside, but sometimes it happens so fast and the door closes where they can't get there in time, which A, could cause them to spin out or cause a wreck, or B, they just are stuck on the outside and they're going to have to fall all the way back and get on that draft to stay with the pack, because you don't want to be losing the draft here either, because if you do, you're in a big hurt of trouble if it stays green.
Yeah, and the other thing too that we saw last night, Daniel, is we saw 3 wide, and some of these guys would, get 3 wide, get in the middle, and we're going to use the word like hung out to dry. If you get hung out to dry, and cooperation, so you're going to have your best friend until the end of the race, and he may not be there at the end of the race with you, Daniel.
He might not be. You might be the only one out there. You don't know what's going to happen here. But I'm sure this is not going to be the only caution we're going to see here tonight, because I'm going to expect some aggressive playoff racing. And anybody could win. It could possibly not even be a playoff driver that wins this race here tonight. It could be a regular driver. And that's what's so fun about Talladega and Daytona. And I'm just going to throw in Atlanta too, because they're all kind of super speedways here. And it's just because, you don't know who's going to win.
Yeah, so the other thing too is I want to point out is on the scoring here, all the drivers that are in the playoffs are highlighted in green, and they have the green banner and green spoiler on the race car. So that's how you know if your favorite drivers in the chase or not. As we're getting ready to get doubled up here, we got 1 lap to get doubled up here. So the other thing I want to point out too, Daniel, keep in mind, if you don't have the greatest finish of the night, Daniel, your championship could be, this could be the one race that you wish you had back.
I talked about it in Las Vegas, and I talked about it last week at Michigan. We see drivers those last 2 weeks being aggressive because they know when they come to Talladega, there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to finish this race. And you want to get as many points as possible in the first 2 races, so you're have a little bit of cushion here at Talladega. But if you were struggling the last 2 weeks and you're in the playoffs, this is a great opportunity for you to make great passes, be up front at the end to get that good finish and get as many points as possible, and probably the win too. But there's that chance also that you can't do that as well, because if you get wrecked out, you're just digging yourself into a bigger hole, and that could cost you to move on into the playoffs.
Right, you are, Daniel. And right now we are doubled up. The lights on the iRacing.com pace car is out. Gordon Spain in that beautiful Dale Earnhardt paint scheme is getting ready to bring us back to green, and that beautiful number 3, as he is on the pole and he's the control car, and these guys have to keep pace road speed as the pace car peels off. Now, unlike Daytona, Daniel, the start line is not in the middle of the tri-oval. It's actually on what they call a little short stretch. So when the pace car peels off into the pit road, these guys still have to be mindful. They still got a restart zone to hit. And Daniel, go ahead and bring us back to green here on lap number 4.
Gordon Spain leading the pack here on the first restart of the night from Talladega. And that 3 has a great launch here, and he is clear of both lanes. So is the 9 as they enter turn number 1.
Yeah, Daniel, you can see that inside line starting to come together. Right there as we're looking at Gordon Spain, but we're going to go past Gordon Spain to Joshua Neal and you see that outside line is trying to form up. These guys are wiggling about. You know, imagine yourself driving on an interstate and you're behind a tractor trailer, and it's just turbulent back there, deeper in the pack that you get.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Oh,
We
did you
got
see a car in the wall
car
out of turn
right
number
to the wall.
4?
He saves it.
We stay green here, but like you were saying, Alan, the turbulence, that I don't even know what to say right now, but the what you mentioned was very good there, as that was the 4 of Dennis Kane that got into the wall back there. He's gonna have to regroup and get back going.
Yeah, they get a fast repair, Daniel. So I would hate to use that fast repair early in the race, but he's gonna have to make up some ground, as he's gonna be the guy that comes out, and these guys are gonna be like a big monster and gobble these guys up, or gobble this Kane up, because he's gonna be a sitting duck when they come around.
And I would like to report that the 4 of Dennis Kane did come down pit road here after getting into the wall. As you see, the cars now making their way through the tri-oval. The 3 of Gordon Spain still leading that pack. But here's the thing, Alan, when you're the leader and you see that run coming on the outside, you got to listen to your spotter, because they are the ones telling you which lane to block. And if you don't block it in time, you're going to be putting up a heck of a fight.
Yeah, Dennis Kane right now, Daniel's leading that outside line, and he's trying to get stuff together. He's trying to get some help, as they're starting to organize really well back there. You got to keep in mind, we're about 6 laps into 94 laps. This is a full Talladega race almost. Maybe a little bit under. So these guys are going to be wore out. This is a mental game of high-speed chess almost.
It really is. And you see great battles going on. You see those pushes being made here. Not so aggressive so far here early on from Talladega, but you see our drivers are normally up front. The 26 of Jeremy Carter, the 15 of Kensley Smith, 3 of Gordon Spain, Truth Hoke in the 59 also. He didn't have a really good run last week at Michigan. Could he get a good run here tonight? It looks like he's doing very good, as you see them heading down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're coming down the back straightaway into turn number 3. And, one thing I want to point out too, this race tonight is going to be a tale of 2 strategies. So as a driver myself, Daniel, I like to lay low in the back and avoid all the issues and wrecks. And then there's some drivers tonight who want to be out front and stay out front.
Well, speaking of laying down in the back there, in the back of the pack, I interviewed Jeremy Carter earlier on before the race, just right before qualifying. I said, are you going to be hanging towards the front or the back? And he said that he would rather stay up in the front. If he qualifies good enough in the front, he would want to stay in the front. But he says if it's getting too risky, he's going to want to drop to the back. And he also mentioned that the Nextgen car drives a whole lot better than Xfinity, and you can get a better run with it, and you can get a great draft from the aerodynamics from this car. And he said, don't push through the tri-oval or coming out of the corner, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, so these cars don't really match up, Daniel. As you see Kensley Smith putting her up in the front of the field and right in front of Dennis Kane. He's into the wall. Can he hang on to it? He keeps it straight, but he's going to lose wholesale positions, Daniel.
Losing multiple positions there. He might even lose the draft. That is not what the 15 of Kensley Smith wanted early on in this race here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That is not what Kensley Smith. That's not what Kensley Smith needed. Jeremy Carter up to the front, nonetheless. John Schoenbachler in that outside line trying to get something going. Or he's in the second position right now, as the top 4 are going to fall in the line, and I think they're going to ride around, as we still have no caution. And Daniel, that's really going to hurt Kensley Smith. And the other thing too, Daniel, I want to point out is Kensley Smith is one of those guys who was on that strategy of just staying in the back all day yesterday. Yesterday in the Xfinity race.
And that's a smart move, but you are nowhere safe here at Talladega. You could be up in the front, middle, or back and still somehow get involved in a wreck. So you're basically nowhere safe. You just gotta hope that you get past the wrecks if there is a wreck in front of you. As you see right there, the pack heading into turn number. Oh, heading into the tribal. My bad. I thought they were coming off turn number 2, but right there you see Jeremy Carter leading this pack.
Yeah, I think Jeremy Carter is one of those guys that are gonna. He wants to get out front. He wants to lead laps. He wants to stay out front. He's, Jeremy Carter is a playoff driver, so he's getting all the bonus points that he can.
Inside line, very well organized, heading into turn number 3. Just keep a close eye on this outside. Are they going to get well organized and get a push and run? We'll see. That's Joshua O'Neill leading that second line, but it looks like they're starting to make a third line up here. That is the 43 back there.
Yeah, speaking of the 43, last night in the Xfinity race, Alex Teft and Andrew Teft got hooked up, and they drove them cars to the front, and they stayed there. And it was like watching Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart all night last night as they're trying to get a third line formed up. They're on the outside of the speedway, Daniel, as we are watching Joshua O'Neill just take command of this race.
Look at the third line right now. They are getting in closer and closer to the front. Ken, the question is, will anybody be able to make a pass from that third line all the way down to the inside? We will have to see. But the 82 has the nod over the inside and outside. As you see now, the inside side by side with the 82 of Joshua O'Neill.
Right now, Austin Smith is running P2. He's got command of that outside line, or he's actually got command of the race on the outside line as he's making it work. He takes the dive bomb to the inside. He goes all the way from the top lane, Daniel, and drives that car all the way to the bottom of the racetrack.
Incredible move there.
As we see it again, Austin Smith goes from the bottom lane, he goes to the middle, and he is hung out to dry. Alex Teft, though, he's on the outside line in that number 43 Chevrolet. And Daniel is, in the Xfinity series, Alex Teft drives a Toyota as he's back to 4th position. But in the Nextgen series, he drives a Chevy. So it may be the way that the Chevys draft with other cars in the Xfinity, in the Cup series, rather than in the Xfinity series, Toyotas may draft differently.
Heading out of turn number 2, going down the back straightaway. See right there, the 4 of Dennis Kane. He's going to go a lap down here, and that's not what he wants to start off this race. They're going to go by him, and everybody looks like they're going by him very, very smoothly here. As you see, we're 3 wide back of the pack there with the 93 is Zach Lockett.
Yeah, so right now, Dennis Kane is a lap down, but Daniel, he needs to get in line and get in that draft so he can at least stay with these guys. He'll be, up for the lucky dog here if the caution comes out. But right now, through 15 laps, we're green flag racing as Alex Teft has taken over the lead. They're in the number 43 car.
Alex Teft's been having an up and down season, but he's had his moments where he was close to getting a win. He just hasn't executed very well. But now look at him right now. He's going down the back straightaway, heading into turn number 3 with the lead.
Yeah, so remember what I told you, Daniel? Alex Teft, Andrew Teft, Team Chicken Coop Racing right there, showing what they can do. They're hooked up now. They found each other on the racetrack. These guys are going to be pretty hard to beat, as when these guys get hooked up, it's like I said, it's like watching Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. But nonetheless, Joshua O'Neill on the outside line, he's trying to get that line going, as he's going to take over the lead. And another driver we don't normally see up in the front, Diego Rodriguez. I want to mention something real quick, that he's one of those drivers where, you know, again, he either finds trouble or trouble finds him, and he might, even Diego Rodriguez might even get a race win here tonight if he can stay out of trouble and avoid the big one.
Who knows? It's Talladega. Anything could happen here. But some great racing going on. Only have one here tonight. Been running green ever since. And I've seen some incredible moves being made here by these drivers.
Yes, we're working lap 17 right now. Joshua Neal and Alex Teft are trading the lead as the inside line gets a little bit ahead, and so does the outside line. But nonetheless, we got a third line trying to form with 3 cars. And I believe in that line, it's going to be Austin Smith. Gordon Spain is actually going to head up that line as they try to draft to the outside there.
You're going to be very, very careful here going 3 wide, because let me tell you, I've driven here at Talladega in the Nextgen car, and I was stuck in the middle line, and it's very, very tight. And if you touch somebody one little bit, it's chaos. I'll just say that, because it's extremely hard when you're in the draft. You're going at least 195 to 200 miles per hour, and one little mistake could cost you the race. So, I mean, I would try personally to get out of that middle line, go to the top line or an inside line. But, I mean, that's just my opinion.
So right now, Diego Rodriguez is pushing Joshua Neal there in the 82 car, and he's going to push Diego Rodriguez is going to push Joshua Neal out to the lead ahead of Alex Teft, but give the advantage to Alex Teft coming out of turn number 4 and onto the front stretch, Daniel.
Going into turn number 1 and 2.
Daniel, have you ever seen a chess match this intense?
I mean, I have, but at the same time, I have not. And that's because when I raced, it felt like a chess match, but watching these races, it doesn't really feel like a chess match, just because, you know, if you're a driver, you're used to it. But you know, these moves, you don't know when the driver's going to make a move. Like, there could be a driver in front of you that's making a move very, very aggressive, and it's very risky. And I know, like, personally, me, if I'm in the back of the pack and I'm getting a run, I know the drivers in front of me aren't going to think that I'm going to make an aggressive move. But, you know, for me, I will make that aggressive move if it's the right time to do it. That's the thing. You want to do it at the right time. You don't want to do it in the middle of the race or in the beginning of the race, because that's just going to make drivers around you feel very upset about how you're driving around them.
And the middle line falls apart, Daniel. The middle line falls apart, and they are back in the back as they are losing wholesale positions as the middle line fell apart, and David Immig comes in to save Diego Rodriguez from losing wholesale positions there in the number 51. David Immig, Brad Hayes, and Diego Rodriguez trying to get the second line organized. Who's going to go with them, Daniel?
It could be anybody, but look at how the 3 of Gordon Spain back there. And who is that? That's the 7 machine also. Look at the run they're going to get on this batch of cars on the outside. That is what you don't typically get with an Xfinity car. It takes a little bit longer, but with this new next gen car, it literally takes not even 5 seconds and you're already up to somebody's bumper. And so far, I haven't seen anybody being aggressive pushing toward the outside of the turn here, which is really good because you don't want to be doing that. But you see right there, the outside lane, Diego Rodriguez currently to the lead over Joshua Neal. So's the 51. Is the 24 going to go down the block? There he goes. He's going to go to the inside. That's going to allow the 51 to take the lead on the outside.
The 51 car takes the lead. Diego Rodriguez jumps to the bottom lane. Brad Hayes pushes David Immig to the lead. John Schoenbachler, or Michael Brooks, sorry, in the number 7 car in our timing, but it's the number 25. That is a Tim Richmond throwback scheme. I have not seen that car in years. That paint scheme in years. But nonetheless, we come back up to the front. Diego Rodriguez out to the lead. He has not led that many laps here this season. So right now, it's a good feeling for him to be out in front of this race.
It's a good feeling. You know, the 24 Diego Rodriguez, he's been very, very close to getting wins in the past weeks. But, you know, could he win tonight? He probably could. But it's a really hard challenge here because you could be 3 wide at a photo finish coming to the line, because we've seen how that's gone.
Yeah, Diego Rodriguez, Daniel, you know, there's 27 cars here tonight, and 27 cars, when they signed in, they believed that they can win this race. If you don't believe that you can win this race tonight, then you are not human. I question a lot of things if you don't believe you can win this. You know, we're in the booth, and I believe I can win this race. As Diego Rodriguez continues to lead the bottom line, though, and the outside line of David Emig is trying to, get guys to come back with them. And again, it's been a tug of war all night at 185 miles an hour, 190 miles an hour tug of war.
It's fun to race here at Talladega. And hey, Alan, I mean, if you want to race Talladega the next time they're here, go for it. Trade your suit in for a fire suit, and you can go out there, and who knows, maybe you'll win. But I know it's very, very fun to race at any super speedway because you have a shot at winning. You see the 51 right there taking the lead, going to that inside line, coming off the turn number 4.
Yeah, David Emig, he was on the outside line, and he jumps down to the inside. Brad Hayes, well, he'll come out to the point as he gets the slight advantage, and he's going to jump down to the inside.
I for sure thought the 51 was going to clip him right there, but there he goes again. The 27 Brad Hayes gets clipped by the 51, but he keeps it straight as they enter turn number 2. Oh man, that was so close.
Yeah, so these guys got to be careful not to bump draft going into the corner, as it looks like we got a car that's in danger going a lap down, and that's Austin Smith, as Brad Hayes and David Emig and Michael Brooks is going to catch Austin Smith in a hurry, and they're probably going to catch him right when they get to the back straightaway. As I stay corrected, it's Kinsley Smith that they're catching right now.
Poor Kinsley Smith's going to go a lap down. Another driver that I thought was going to have a really good night tonight is literally out right now, a lap down, literally a lap down. So I'm sure he's not happy here tonight from Talladega. But you see right there, 27 of Brad Hayes leading this pack after making an aggressive move in that tri-oval, and that outside line looks like it's falling apart a little bit there.
Yeah, the outside line, you're going to have that. It's going to be consistent with Talladega. That outside line is going to fall apart and it's going to rebuild. So that outside line is, they're not forming 2 groups yet, but that outside line will get back together and they're going to mount a charge and come back after the lead. As right now, Brad Hayes continues to lead with David Emig in tow and Diego Rodriguez in second or third. So Daniels, this racetrack, the way you approach it is not like you approach other tracks where you want the big lead. Here you don't want to get, here at Talladega, you don't want to get out to a big lead, because then the draft will catch you and then they'll just pass you because you lose all your momentum.
You're correct on that, Alan, but I also heard from drivers that, you see right there, the 3 of Gordon Spain going to the outside, see if anybody will go with him. They're 3 wide mid-pack, but like I was saying, Alan, I heard from drivers, they don't want to be leading this race throughout the race just because they know there's a lot of pressure on them, and one little mistake for them, they could go around easily. And you've seen what happened to these other drivers. They're lapped down, and that's what these drivers are trying to avoid to happen to them. And you see right there tonight, Sean Blackler doing an excellent job here, staying inside the top 10 here tonight.
Yeah, so we're looking at John Schoenbachler here on lap 28, and he's doing a pretty good job of keeping that car straight. Well, we're gonna jump back to a few other guys and get the guys that are, here in the back some screen time. As we're looking at Paul Shaw there in the number 25 car, and that Wayne Creek Toyota there.
I'm liking the color on that car right there. And imagine, oh, you see right there, 26 of Jeremy Carter come down pit road here on lap 29.
And we're going to jump back here to Andrew Tuft, as he is, he just got done with his pit cycle there, and he, pitted on lap 3. So he might have short pitted to maybe give himself a few more laps. As we're seeing guys, here at lap 30, starting to make their way down pit road. They're starting to talk to the other drivers, and they're starting to make their deals, Daniel. This is, you don't want to come down pit road alone.
You don't want to come down pit road by yourself, and you're going to see these drivers come down in packs, and they're all going to be literally inches apart from each other. They're going to want to get as close as possible to each other if they come down in a pack. And that's so when they come in as a pack, they want to come out as a pack. I know you want to beat another driver off pit road, but you certainly don't want to be the only car coming off of pit road, because you are not going to be in a draft. And that's a big difference in mile per hour changes, because a pack could be going 195, 200 on new tires, and you could be going on new tires maybe at like 170, 175, maybe 180. I'll put it at that. But that's a big difference, and you're basically lost at that point unless a caution comes out.
So right now in this round of pit stops, the Truce Hoke, he's going to come on in and get his service. Zach Lockett, Alex Tuft, Noah Tansman, Paul Shaw, Michael Brooks, Brandon Honeycutt. They're all going to come in and get their services done. Truce Hoke will take over the lead with Ira Kohlhaas in second. And when pit stops cycle through, I believe David Emig will take the lead back over, as Alex Tuft is in pit road right now. And right now, the times right now are 40 seconds on pit road. And so they're going to take 4 tires. They want the 4 tires, and they want to get, that Sunoco good go fast liquid in their cars.
Didn't see any drivers make any mistakes. See right there, 59 Truth Hoke giving up the lead. Now come down pit road here to get service. First service for him tonight, and all these other drivers here on lap 33.
Right now, I recall is out there all by himself, as David Emig is in 3rd position right now. So when Ira Kohlhaas comes in the pit road to get his services, the top 3 will be David Emig, Brad Hayes, and Diego Rodriguez, as they are all out by themselves. Alex Tuft there in the number 43 trying to catch these guys and get their draft. We're going to go back here to Noah Tansman here in the number 56 car, as he's in a line with Marshall Harris, Gordon Spain, Joshua Neal, and John Schollenbachler. And they are catching right now, I believe that's Alex Tuft just ahead of them in 5th place, as these guys are going to go right by Alex Tuft. And Alex Tuft is going to lose wholesale positions, as he's looking to get in line behind John Schollenbachler.
Yeah, and eventually later on in this race, we're going to see drivers all back in a pack once again, but it's just going to take a little bit of time here for these packs to, find each other on the track.
Right now, we're going to go back into the 3-car battle right here. These guys are all the way out in no man's land, as Noah Tansman is leading this line. And I want to try to go out to a wider shot so we can maybe see the the eyeball test, and you can see almost how far, what that gap is from, third position Diego Rodriguez back to Noah Tansman. As we,
I mean, it's literally a whole corner. I mean, they're just leaving turn number 4, and that pack is literally now just leaving turn number 4, and they're entering the tribal. So that's a pretty big gap to make up. But when you're going 200 miles per hour, you're going pretty fast. You see right here, the more cars you're going to have in a draft pack like this, and the pack in front of them, they maybe have like 3 cars with them. Well, you obviously know that the more cars in the pack are going to have a better run on them, and that's just because they're going a lot more faster. The more cars you have, the faster you're going to be.
right, you are, Daniel. As we're looking at the number 32 of Marshall Harris. He's not a playoff driver, but Daniel, I've said it week in and week out across the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, and even tonight, these non-playoff guys, these non-playoff drivers, they could play spoiler tonight with a win. They could definitely play spoiler, as we got 2 races left in the chase for this year. And we're here at Talladega, and this is a wild card for these guys.
Well, the season went by very, very fast, in my opinion, but it's been a very great season. We started at the high banks of Daytona. We're now at the high banks of Talladega. I mean, I never thought that we would be here already in the playoffs for the Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series, but they put on a great performance so far this season and in the postseason. But I'm ready to see who wins that championship. I'm ready. I know I don't want this season to end, but I'm anxious to see who the champion will be.
All right. So Daniel, right now we're gonna go through the field as we're looking at David Emig here in P1. P2 is Brad Hayes. P3 is Diego Rodriguez. And then about a mile back, you got Noah Tansman in P4. Right behind him, we got Marshall Harris running P5. He's going to take a look to the outside, and Gordon Spain's going to pass him pretty handily there, almost pretty handily there in P6. P7, you got Joshua Neal. P8, you got John Schoenbachler. And then on the back end of this little group here, you got Alex Steff. And we're going to go a little bit further back on the racetrack as we got Jeremy Carter in 10th. And then outside of 10th and 11th, we got Corey Corral. We got Andrew Teft in P12. They're in the 6th car. And I think as they continue to battle in spot positions, Brandon Honeycutt's now going to be P12. Craig Crowell's going to be followed back to P13. Ira Kohlhaas, he's in P14 right now. He's one of those guys that I believe are waiting it out, waiting to see what happens, see where the race falls. Zach Lockett there, he's up 3 positions, so he started 18th and he's up to 15th. Michael Brooks there in the number 25 car. Or in the 7 car rather. You got Michael Smith there in the number 45. He's running P17. P18 right now is Paul Shaw. P19 is Truth Hoke. As he's in danger of going a lot down. He's by himself. So we got Dwayne McMahon, Brandon Zimmerman there in the 65 car. That's 20th and 21st. You got Thomas Stanley there in the 22, in the 22nd position. Jason Bottoms in 23, P23. P24, you got, Brandon Poffenbarger. And then, one lap down, you got Austin Smith. Dennis Kane's a lap down. And then 2 laps down, you got Kinsley Smith. So that's your run through to the field. We're on lap 40, coming to lap 40 here. As they come, off the back straightaway into turn 3, as we're back up front with David Emig and Brad Hayes and Diego Rodriguez. But don't look out now. You got a car catching these, and I believe that is Austin Smith. He's catching his front group there. and he's trying to get his lap back the hard way, trying to get out front of David Emming in case the caution were to come out. He would be in line for that lucky dog.
You're seeing these packs get closer, closer, and closer, like I mentioned earlier on. And I think once these packs get back together, there's going to be some great moves going to be made.
Yeah, so right now we're on lap 40, so we're about we're about a quarter of the race through this 94 lap affair. As we're watching Noah Tansman, he is leading that second group, who's inching ever so slightly to Diego Rodriguez there in third place. So these guys are really, really spread out now. So Daniel, I have a little bit of trivia for you. This is something that we do across the Racers Elite. What sponsor? Go back to the year 2000 when Dale Earnhardt won, which has been a title race.
Right.
Kenny Wallace, St. Louis's own Kenny Wallace, pushes Dale Jr. to the lead to ultimately win the race. What sponsor was on that number 55 Chevrolet with Kenny Wallace?
Oh man. I'm gonna take a wild guess here, but let's see. Kenny Wallace. I'm gonna say. Oh man, I know it off the top of my tongue. I just don't know if it's right. But is it Exide Batteries? No, I don't think it was. I don't know. What is it, Alan?
Square D. He drove the Square D car for Andy Petrie in the number
Square
55.
D.
Yes, Square D.
Square D. What was Square D?
That's the breaker company. They make circuit breakers.
Oh, okay. Square D. All right. I mean, this lap is going. These laps are going by so fast now that we haven't seen any more cautions, and I mean, we're already working on lap 43 out of 94, and I mean, look at that big pack back there. Let's focus on that pack right there, coming off of turn number 2. See right there, 4 of Dennis Kane on the inside, but everybody's gonna go right around him, and the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt. And you see right there the 6 of Andrew Teft leading that pack, with the 26 of Jeremy Carter in second place right there in that pack. He's not second place right now, but he's second place in this pack. And this pack is moving very, very fast and strong. Great pushing going on.
Dennis Kane, part of that chicken coop racing. He may be a lap down, but he can still help Alex Teft and Andrew Teft get to the front. And that's what these guys are doing. Last night in the post race, I asked, Alex and Andrew both, what makes you guys work so well? And he says, Alex and Andrew both said, it's having teammates you can trust. So even though, as you see right there, you got Andrew Teft at that bottom line, and Dennis Kane is right there with them. Dennis Kane is right there with them, drafting Andrew Teft. He may, like I said, he may be let down, but he's still going to help his teammates as much as he can. As this is a whale of a battle right here. This is a whale of a race. But Daniel, I think you did the announcer's jinx right there. Without, 42, 44 laps without a caution. Like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Seeing right there the pack of Andrew Teft right there below that double yellow line. He's gonna have to fall back into place here.
Yeah, you don't want to fall that. You don't want to go below the yellow line and gain your position, because that yellow line is out of bounds essentially, kind of like in football. But you just got to fall back in line, regroup. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, as you're tuned into Racers Elite. I'm Alan Bergen. With me is my friend from the East Coast, Daniel Paulus from Pennsylvania, and you're watching Racers Elite Next Gen. And I want to mention something too. Also, Daniel, as we're watching Andrew Tuft here in P9, is if you like what you see here on Racers Elite, be sure to tune in on Saturday with ISNF, new series starting up with ECR. You know, ECR Cup Racing. They race the next gen cars. On Sunday, we're glad to bring back, Sunday night NASCAR. So there's a lot of great programming here on SRM. A lot of great guys that are, behind the scenes, you know, as well as on the mic, on the call with, every night. And SRM, Daniel, has got literally 7 nights, almost 7 nights worth of racing that you can watch on any given night. So if asphalt late models are your thing, you can watch them. If NASCAR trucks is your thing, is your flavor, you can watch NASCAR trucks. If the Xfinity series is your flavor, we got it all almost.
We have it all here on SRM. And Alan, it's fun broadcasting with you, and it's fun broadcasting in general here in the SRM group. And I'm thankful for bringing everybody these fun, entertaining races. And I mean, I think it's really fun to broadcast because you're learning new stuff every single time you are broadcasting. No matter what car, what race you're in, you're just learning something new.
Daniel, remember that 3-car breakaway with David Emig, Bragg Hayes, and Diego Rodriguez?
Yes.
Guess what? Noah Tansman caught him and took the lead with Marshall Harris in tow.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I am so sorry, folks, that we missed that one as we were talking.
They're all back.
Yeah, they're all back together. Now you got two distinctive groups. So now you got you got the front pack here, ending the top sevens in one group, and then a little further on back, you got the second group, which is led by John Schoen, or Andrew Tuft rather, in that second group. So now this is conducive to Talladega, as you got two distinct groups of cars. So you got the top 7, and then you got 9 through Dwayne McMahon in the 87 car, which is about 23rd. So these groups are going to kind of form, and as we get we're 50 laps into this 90 lap affair. So what do you think about that? That those two distinctive groups.
Yeah, I mean, when we see two distinctive groups get together, everybody's going to be trying to figure out what their plan is, what they're going to do, how are we going to race against the other racers. But when you're in a single car pack, just maybe 4 or 5 cars, it's not a lot you can do. But if there's another pack and they just start coming up on you, you got to have a game plan, knowing what should we do to potentially get up in the front, have them in the back behind us. But it makes it more challenging when there's a lot more cars that come up on you.
Yes, so we are on lap number 50, Daniel. And I want to point out something. These guys last pitted on lap 32 or 31, 30. Yes. Some pitted on 29. So right around that 29, 30 lap range. So I would imagine that these guys would go to lap 61, maybe 59. Some may try to push it to 62, and that'll set us up right around halfway. Maybe just a couple laps shy of halfway, as we're watching Noah Tansman right now. And right now, ever since the beginning of the race, Daniel, this race has been, a little, uneventful. And that's what's good about these, As a spectator, Daniel, I don't like to watch as I call the caution fest races. There's a multitude of cautions. I like everybody's minding their P's and Q's. And,
right.
I feel like this is part of the story that's being told right now. And think of racing as a theater, right? As the
Yes.
cars are the actors, right? We're
Yes.
the spectators, and the officials or the admins, and the admins they're the directors, right? So if
Yes.
you get a lot of good stories out of here. You get stories of triumph, you get stories of disappointment, you get the woulda, shouldas. What if we would have done this differently? What if we would have done that differently?
Correct.
As we got, it looks like Austin Smith there in the number 23 car. He's going to go to the outside and let these guys go on by as he tries to stay out of the way, and he's going to go another lap down, and that'll put him 2 laps down, as it were. So Austin Smith not having the night that he was hoping for. Not having the night that he was hoping for. But, and that, like I said, that goes back to the every point matters. As I want to take a look at Andrew Tuft there in 9th position, as he's leading Corey Krell there, and this is a top 10 battle right here. So 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Okay, that's almost the end of the line. Zach Lockett there in P17 and 93. Tennessee Titans Chevrolet, and then you got Michael Brooks at the end of that line. Right, so that's your 2 distinct lines right there. Joshua Neal is the end of one line, and Andrew Tuft is the start of another. So let's go back here. So then you got a third line with Truth Hope, Kinsley Smith, right? And then Brandon Zimmerman, Thomas Stanley, Jason Bottoms, and Dwayne McMahon. And then at the end of this line at the end of the front line with Austin Smith, you got Brandon Poffenbarger. So Brandon Poffenbarger, was having good, he's having good runs here in the Nextgen series, but tonight, not so much, as he's still a lap down. So if the caution were to come out, he would be in line for that coveted lucky dog to get back on the lead lap.
Yes. So with these drivers that are 1 lap down, yes, they're praying for a caution to get their lap back. But whoever's 2 laps down, they are in a hole right now, and they need to figure a way to get out of that hole, because if not, they could finish multiple laps down, and that's not what you want here at Talladega at all.
Well, just to give you an idea, let's go to Diego Rodriguez. Okay, so you're gonna get an idea of what of how fast he's running right now. We're trying to bring up the dashboard there, and he's running right now 191 miles an hour, that's in the draft. So we're 56 laps into this race. Daniel, who's gonna win?
Way too early to know who's gonna win here from Talladega, because again, a caution can come out. The question is, when will it come out? Because if it comes out, everybody's gonna be back in a pack again, and everybody's gonna be making aggressive moves.
So Daniel, based on the last time that they pitted on lap 30, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, we're on lap 57 now.
Yes.
Okay, so we're on lap 57. So as we're starting to see cars come in now, as Noah Tansman, he's on pit road. Marshall Harris is on pit road. Andrew Tuft, Alex Tuft, Brendan Poffenbarger getting his service. Dennis Kane. These are all guys that pitted around that lap 29, the last time in. So my math for once is actually mathing. Diego Rodriguez will take the point with David Emming right behind him. And then, they were starting, lap 55, 54. They were starting to make deals. They were,
Oh yeah.
they were starting to make deals. Hey, I'm gonna come in when you come in. What lap are you coming in? Okay. So now you got Joshua Neal. He's on pit road. So we're gonna switch to a different angle here. Gordon Spain's on pit road. Corey Corral, he stays out so far. Jeremy Carter stays out. This is that second line. And no sooner they say that Jeremy Carter is up to 6th. Brendan Honeycutt, he's out, staying out right now. This is lap 59. So this is conducive of the laps that they came in earlier in the race on lap, 29, 30, somewhere in there. So lap 60, we're going to be just shy of halfway when these guys get done with their pit stop. John Schoenbachler, he's riding in P2 as these pit stops start to cycle rather.
Nine's gonna stay out right here as you see the 23 of Austin John Smith come down pit road. So as a bunch of other cars you see right there, the 51, the 24 of Diego Rodriguez, 57 of Jason Bonhams leaving pit road. Haven't talked about Jason Bonhams a lot here tonight from Talladega. He's been towards the back of the pack, but here comes that pack, that big pack. Here you see this 13 of Brandon Honeycutt, the 20 of Corey Carell, 43 of Alex Taft. My bad, the 45, the 26 of Jeremy Carter. Right there, you see one car staying out. That's the 7 machine of Michael Brooks.
So far, John Schoenbachler and Michael Brooks have all stayed out. Truce Hoke even stayed out. He's delaying his pit entry. So lap 57, 58, John Schoenbachler is coming into pit road. He's all by himself. He's the lone man on the pit road. Daniel. Michael Brooks is out there all by himself. All by himself. Truce Hoke just shortly behind him. 16 seconds behind Michael Brooks to be exact. As David Emming, he's out there into this pack also. And he came in on lap 59. So these, Michael Brooks, Truce Hoke, these guys are all going to be in danger of going a lap down as you got Noah Tansman there. He's leading that front pack right now.
If I was a 7 machine, I would get down pit road ASAP because now you got a pack that is done with their pits all back ready to go, and they will be coming very, very fast within a matter of 5 laps. So maybe not even 5 laps, but I wouldn't want to be leading this race and not come down pit road by myself.
Right now, you got Noah Tansman. He's leading this race with Marshall Harris in 2nd position. Noah Tansman's up 23 spots. So he started, I want to say 25th is where he started at. But nonetheless, he's up 23 spots. Marshall Harris is up 20 spots right now. David Emming, he's up 17 spots. Diego Rodriguez is up 11 spots. I would give Diego Rodriguez now an attaboy. I don't want to jinx him just yet as we're 61 laps in, and 64 will be the halfway point. Right now, we're looking at Brad Hayes. He's up 3 spots. He started 9th. Right now, Michael Brooks is finally going to come down pit road as Kinsley Smith is going to go around him. Nonetheless, you got Noah Tansman. He's still leading that front pack. And this pack has got Noah Tansman, Marshall Harris, David Emming, Diego Rodriguez, Brad Hayes, Gordon Spain, Joshua Neal, and Brandon Poffenbarger, who is a lap down still. He's on lap 61, and the rest of the guys are on lap 62. John Schoenbachler, he's out there all by himself. He's in no man's land. But he might be backing up to Andrew Teft there, the number 6 car. Alex Teft is in that second line. Dennis Kane, he's a lap down, but like I said earlier, he could be pushing his teammates to the front. He may be let down, but he's definitely going to help his teammates out here as they go by John Schoenbachler pretty handedly there. You got Corey Carell in this group too. You know, Brandon Honeycutt's in this group also, and that number 13 Toyota there, and Daniel, Daniel Brandon Honeycutt's always got a good looking paint scheme on those race cars.
He always does have a great paint scheme going on, no matter what happens to him. I like Brandon Honeycutt. You know, he's a very solid, talented driver. No matter what happens to him, he's always very positive. You know, it's just when the time comes, the time comes.
And we are one lap away from halfway. As we approach lap 64 of 94, and actually we are halfway. Lap 64 is your halfway point. So Daniel, do you think it's still too early to point out a winner? As we're kind of starting to see what they have, as far as their cars go.
Right. I do believe it's still a little too early. If I predicted a winner, it'd probably have to be with 4 laps to go. I know that sounds crazy, but in my opinion, that's what I would do.
As you see there, this is Joshua Neal. He's up to the outside line, and it looks like Austin Smith is going to try to help him by Brad Hayes to try to form something up there on that outside line, along with Brandon Poffenberger, who is a lap down, and Daniel, he's a lap down, but he's trying to help some of these guys out too. He's in the chase. Brandon Poffenberger is. He has a couple wins on the season.
He does.
So like I said, every point matters. So if he stays on the track and he stays clean, he keeps the car in one piece, and say there's a big wreck, that could potentially, help him out in the standings.
Why not? I mean, if it's gonna help your teammate do better, why? And you can't do anything about yourself, go ahead and do it, because that shows a lot of teamwork. In my opinion, it shows a lot of teamwork, and it tells you that they care about you and how you race with each other, and it just makes the situation a whole lot better.
Yes, we got Corey Crowell there. He's part of the Midwest Motorsports team, and these guys have been a strong contingent throughout the whole playoffs. Actually, throughout the whole season. Even in Chicago, when we saw Austin Smith win in Chicago, and on the Xfinity side, Daniel, I said to Mike, one of our great teammates, Mike, I said, this win in Chicago on the Xfinity side, that's on that street course, that's a statement win. And, here on the Nextgen side, Austin Smith, he missed the race due to a work trip. So he started out, he was essentially buried before the chase even got started.
Yeah, but he also did get a win at Michigan last week, which was really, really good. But is that going to be really good enough to make it into, the Final Four and win a championship? I don't know. I mean, I felt like he had to get a really good run here tonight in order to contend, because he's still in a hole, just not as big of a hole as he was entering Michigan.
Yeah, Daniel, you're absolutely correct. And I know I shouldn't say absolutely. As we got a yellow flag.
There it is. This is going to change everything.
Looks like Zach Lockett there. Okay, let's see here. Go to Zach Lockett there in the number 93 car.
Oh, looks like he just came down.
He came down, and let's pause. Let's stop that. Let's run it back. I want to run this back, Daniel.
Yeah, that's no problem. Let's see what caused that, but it did look like the 93 Zach Lockett was coming down, maybe trying to get in front of the 26 of
So
Jeremy Carter here. Let's take a look at this replay once again.
yes, let's find Jeremy Carter. You know what? Let's do this, Daniel. Let's let's see it from the air. Okay. It looks like you said, Zach Lockett. It looks like he came down to get in that bottom lane, and Jeremy Carter was there. But nonetheless, let's go back to the caution flag.
Well, Alan, this is going to change everything now because, everybody's going to be all back together again. Now we're going to see some aggressive moves being made because we're on lap 70 out of 94. So basically, there's only 24 laps to go, I believe, if my math is mathing tonight.
I don't know. Let me check that against my calculator. as, as Daniel here, my broadcast partner, tries to be a human calculator. Let's see. Oh, 70 minus 24. Yep, you're correct. Your math is mathing.
All right, let's go. As you see now, the field coming down pit road is probably going to be the final service stop here for the night. Probably going to get some new tires on those next gen cars. You want to get as much grip as possible. As you see, they're making their way into their pit box. Everybody's doing very nice, smooth work, no mistakes. And this is going to be an incredible restart. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one interesting restart.
Well, right now, Daniel, Brandon Honeycutt, I believe, stayed out. I didn't see him come down pit road. So he might be thinking maybe there's a caution at the end of the race. Maybe not. Who knows? But if he stays out, his next stop should be right around lap 90. So he might be hoping for a green-white checker. Or he might be thinking there's a green-white checker.
It could be a green-white checker no matter what, because it's super speedway racing. There's always overtime here and there. Question is, will we get it tonight? I don't know. We're gonna have to see how this plays out. But you see right there, Marshall A. Harrison, that 32 machine's been running everywhere here tonight, running mid-pack, running the front of the pack. See them working their way, heading into turn number 3 here on this camera. And man, they look like ants all the way down in turn number 2.
So Daniel, we got a little bit of time.
Right.
So let's go ahead, and I want to talk to Diego Rodriguez. So let's see if we get Diego Rodriguez up in the booth. And actually, I just located Diego Rodriguez. Diego Rodriguez is Alan and Daniel Paulus up in the SRM booth. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. A little nervous.
A little nervous. Well, I feel like this is the run that you needed. And so give your perspective of the race so far as from where you're sitting at in that 24 Jeff Gord throwback team.
A lot of just trying to be careful, line up my pushes, not getting wrecks or cause a wreck, and just finish the race.
Yeah, so I pointed out to Daniel at the top of the show tonight, there's a couple different strategies in play. Are you taking the strategy of staying out front, or was it ever a mindset to enter the strategy of ride the back and let the cautions fall where they fall?
I wanted to start in the back, or maybe I want to start more in the middle or back. But I guess I worked my way up to lead, and I just wanted to stay here.
All right, Diego. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get you back out, back up to where you can focus that, and hopefully we'll get to talk to you at the end of the night.
All right, thank you.
Yep. So there you heard it there. He wanted to stay in the back, Daniel, but he ended up, he's gonna restart in that 6th position when we go back to green. So it's kind of worked out to where he was just, I wanted to ride in the back, but here I am in the front, so I'm gonna keep it in the front.
He's got a shot tonight. He's got a really, really good shot here. Legitimate shot at winning tonight. And if he can just get that one win under his belt, I know next season he's going to feel a lot more confident and probably going to win some more races too. It's just that one win you need to get under your belt in order for them to start clicking off one by one. And I've felt that before, after I've won my first race. It actually came at the old Atlanta before this new configured Atlanta. And it was really fun to get that first win. But after you get your first win, you just want to win all of them, but you can't. And that's when you realize that it's really hard to get that first one.
All right, Daniel. So, iRacing.com pace car is gonna peel off, and just a reminder: the start finish line isn't in the middle of the trival; it's at the end of the trival. As Michael Smith is on the button, and he is down and away, and we are back to racing here on lap number 79 or 72 with 23 laps or 26 laps left to go, if my math is mathing correctly. Daniel, as David Emmy's gonna fall in line with Gordon Spain there, and the
we're gonna go three. Sorry, Alan, to cut you off there, but we're gonna go 3 wide back here, mid pack. They're starting a third groove. Let's see if anybody goes with them. If so, we're gonna have 3 wide action here in the next 2 laps.
Yeah, Daniel, as Alex Teff there, Paul Shaw stepped out there, and he's forming up that outside line. But nonetheless, he's got, Noah Hansman there in third in that line. Paul Shaw there in second in that line. But nonetheless, Marshall Harris is he's gonna try to get that second line organized as Michael Smith finds himself out in the lead. And again, on the restart, it's very easy to get a really big lead out ahead of the field. As Joshua Neal goes from the outside to the inside to the outside line. Here comes Gordon Spain. He's going to jump the outside line
back there.
We got a car in the wall.
That's the 32 Marshall A. Harris.
Marshall Harris puts it in the wall, Daniel. Good eyes. As Marshall Harris is going to lose wholesale position. 21 yellow flag is out. Marshall Harris, I believe, is on the short end of that stick, and that's gonna bring us up to caution number 4. We're gonna caution number 3. Sorry, my math is not mathing right now. As we are gonna run this back here. Sorry that we're gonna run this back.
Let's take a look at this replay here. Now,
we're gonna go back just a little bit further than this, Daniel.
I did see back here on the back straightaway the 32 get into that outside wall.
Yeah, so he got it. Yep, he got into the outside wall. Oh, and it looked like Austin Smith was there. He got a piece of the action.
Probably didn't have enough time to react to that one.
So let's do this. Let's go back to Austin Smith. And then we'll run this one back.
Got some good front end damage on that 23 machine.
That you there.
Just not having the night he wants, but let's take a look here, Alan.
So here you go. Bam, right there. Right when Marshall came down, he had no idea Marshall was coming down the track, and that put him on the short end of the stick. So Daniel, as we got roughly a little under 20 laps to go in this race.
Yeah. Yep.
Cautions, precautions. 23 laps. Left. 20 laps to go. 19 laps now. So I want to talk to another driver. Let's pull another driver in here and get their thoughts on the race tonight. I want to talk to Andrew Tuff.
Okay, let's see what Andrew's got to have to say.
Okay, let's go get Andrew Tuff. I'm gonna get Andrew Tuff right now and bring him in. Andrew, you're in the booth with Alan and Daniel tonight. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a little warm in St. Louis, but I bet it's extremely hot inside that race car. And it seems like tonight, Andrew, you and Alex has been hooked up, you know, on and off in the race. So what's it gonna take for you and Alex to get hooked up again tonight and see what we saw last night?
Yeah, I was actually just trying to take a peek at where he was. Looks like he's back in 13th on the inside, so kind of far away. I think I'm just gonna try to work my way up there and stay up there, and hopefully he can fight his way through. Also, I know he's got Dennis back there, so I don't know if we can pull off the top 3 again, but we're gonna try.
Yeah, and I was telling Daniel based on last night, it's kind of like watching Dale. You and Alex working so well together last night, and then a few times tonight. It's kind of like it takes me back to watching Dale Jr. and Tony Stewart on these restrictor plate tracks.
Yeah, we've just got a lot of confidence in each other. We've been working with each other for a really long time since we were kids, so I think we just got each other's routines down and kind of know each other's moves, and it's a lot of trust. I spent plenty of times where we just committed and pushed each other to the win, and it's just nice to know that that's returned. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Right. Nonetheless, well, Alex or Andrew, I hope that you're on the other side of last night. You helped Alex to the win last night. Do you think? Are you hoping that Alex will help you to the win tonight?
yeah, we're going for the championship here, so I don't blame him either way. A lot of the times it's just in our best interest to work together, to be honest. Find if we start fighting for it, usually both of us lose, so it's just been working good for us over the years.
All right, Andrew. Thanks for taking the time out. We're gonna get you back over there with your teammates.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. So you heard it there. Andrew Taft, Alex Taft, as we're doubled back up here, as we get ready for 18 laps to go here, Daniel. This has been exciting. Only 3 cautions. And, last night we got the green-white checkers. We got to see the NASCAR overtime. And I'm hoping that that you get to see that too, because last night's finish was insane. Absolutely insane.
Well, I'm sure if we get an overtime finish here tonight, it's gonna be insane too. But you never know. We could have a green flag to the finish. But either way, I think it's gonna be a great finish. I'm hoping for a photo finish. That would be really, really cool to have a photo finish 3 wide. I only seen that once happen in my lifetime on iRacing broadcasting, but it's anybody's race right now. I'd say anybody inside the top 10 has a shot right now. If you're outside the top 10, you gotta make something happen, because this pace car is off, and once that 45 starts going, it's on.
Yeah, this time Daniel, he took the as David Emig is gonna bring him down to the green flag. And we'll remind you again, the start finish line is not in the middle. As Michael Smith is actually in the restart zone. He is actually on the point, and he is down and away. And he jumped out to a good sizable lead, is what you don't want to do here at Talladega, as we are 13 laps to go. Or 17 laps to go, my apologies.
Oh, squirrely on there up the top line. I don't think 27 of Brad Hayes is going to be able to go back down now. That hole is now filled by the 6th Andrew Teff. That 27's left dry there on that outside, but you see right there, 29 Iron Kohlhaas going to that 3rd line. He's going to fall back to the 2nd line now. But if nobody helps at 27, he's going to go all the way back now, and that's not what you want here in the closing laps.
Brad Hayes losing wholesale positions as he is desperately trying to find a spot in line, as he's finally going to find a spot in line behind Marshall Harris, as he's looking to the outside again, trying to see if anybody will go with him. He's going fishing to the outside. Brad Hayes pulling the power move on Brendan Poffenbarger there, who got his lap back as being a beneficiary of the lucky dog. Can he do anything with these guys?
Because you see another car trying that third line, entering turn number 3. There go more of them. That's the 5 of Brendan Poffenbarger, 20 of Corey Carell, and they're bringing a whole bunch of cars with them.
Here comes that outside line right there, as you pointed out, Daniel. Corey Carell's on that, or Alex Smith is on that outside line. Corey Carell, he's falling back. Let's see who we got up there in the front. It looks like we got Andrew Tuff. He's back there in 5th position. He's on the outside of that front row. You got John Schoenbachler there. David Emig is leading that outside line. As Corey Carell, he's on the 3rd line there, trying to make something happen to see if someone will go with them. Does anybody take the bait back there? As we're watching these guys battle hard here for lap 79, as we are a little over, 14 laps to go here in this one, Daniel. And remember, I told you it's going to get insane, but this is getting better than insane. It's getting off the charts right now.
I expected that here on this restart, just because, we had that long green flag run. Everybody's just been riding along, waiting for that caution to come out so everybody could be all even once again and have a legitimate shot at it. And then now that it's here, they know they have to start making these moves, because these laps, again, they're going to wind down very, very fast. Because when you're in the driver's seat, Alan, you're not even thinking about the laps. You're not even worrying what lap you're on. You're just racing around and around, just focusing on who's behind you and who's in front of you, who's making the moves left and right. That's what your primary focus is on. You're not worrying about the laps until you hear that spotter say, white flag.
Right, you are. Let's go on board right now with Corey Carell. We're going to go on board with Corey Carell here momentarily on your screen, as he is there in 5th position. He's leading that outside line there. Maybe if we can get it to come up here. Here we go. As you're on board with Corey Carell there in 5th position, he's leading that outside line. So let's jump over to John Schoenbachler there in the 9 car, as we're going to go on board with John Schoenbachler. Actually, this is what John Schoenbachler is seeing right now from the 9 car, and that sun's right there in his eyes. With 13 laps to, with 13 laps to go there, we're lap 81. Yeah, 81 there in the timing and scoring there. So this is the onboard shot from John Schoenbachler. And let's jump over to Diego Rodriguez there in the number 24 car.
Oh, they're wrecking.
Oh, we got a caution.
He's around.
We got a caution.
There's
Diego
a 24,
Rodriguez.
Diego Rodriguez, the 43 of Alex Heft. There's drivers scrambling. There's the 3 of Gordon Spain to the bottom there, again caught up in this. That was an insane onboard wreck.
Wow, and we got to see it live on board. Let's go back and see what started off. Let's go to Diego Rodriguez here.
That had to be a first for me.
Or we're gonna go to Noah Tansen. Sorry, the Noah Tansen. It looks like they checked up behind Alex F there in the 42 or the 43 car, and it was on from there. Let's run that back. Let's see. You got Brandon Honeycutt. He was involved in it. Gordon Spain, Brad Hayes, and like we said at the top of the show, it was only a matter of time when the big one was gonna happen. So
It,
let's
it's
go.
like
Let's go to Alex Heft here.
it's like a chain reaction here, Alan. If one driver checks up, m- you're all like compacted together. There's nothing you can do at that point.
And that's gonna bring out the fourth caution. Now I can say the fourth caution is it's gonna bring out the fourth caution there.
Yeah.
So that's gonna put uh that's gonna put Diego right or Corey Krell up in the lead there. As we are under caution for now the fourth time there. And I wish we had those little pens that we could draw on the screen with because that was insane. And this is kind of what we saw last night in the Xfinity series, Daniel, is
Yeah.
you know, these late race cautions, now everybody's starting to get
Antsy.
aggressive. Antsy, aggressive, whatever adjective you want to come up with, you know. But now these guys are on, we're on lap 84. We got 10 laps to go. So I would suspect that these guys are going to, put some go fast in it and slug it out to the end.
On lap 85 out of 94. Just with 9 laps remaining here from Talladega Superspeedway.
So while we got this caution flag, really, let's talk to another driver. Let's see who
Ooh.
we can find. I'll let
Oh,
you
I know
pick this
one.
time.
I know one.
All right, you pick and you bring him on into the booth.
All right. Well, um, let's see here. I'm gonna pick. Where is he here? All right, I'm gonna bring in Jeremy Carter into the booth. Hey, Jeremy, it's Daniel and Alan in the SRM booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Well, it's been an exciting race so far. You know, we had a caution early on, then we had that long green flag run, had some pit stops going on. Now it's just a caution, 5 laps, now another caution. What's the expectations going into this next restart? And tell us, how is it out there tonight?
When we all got spread out, it was just basically follow the leader, and now the guys are getting a little bit more aggressive. You know, we're going to be inside 10 laps to go. I don't think we're done with cautions, but I'm going to stick up here with Corey and try to get a 1-2 finish here.
Well, now that you're sitting there in second place, I mean, would you rather sit in second or third place and then with maybe 2 laps or a lap to go, then make your move, potentially get that win here tonight?
Really, I would rather be on the bottom behind my teammate right now instead of on the outside of him, and then we would just go from there.
All right. Well, I'm going to put you back in your racing mind and good luck. And hopefully we have an interview if you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Enjoy the show.
All right, everybody. And that was Jeremy Carr, the driver of the 26 for Midwest Motorsports. And Alan, he's saying he's going to stay behind with his teammate here on this restart. And we talked about we're going to see teammates work together. But if you're sitting there in second place with your teammate on that inside line, you have the opportunity to go to the outside, make that pass. What do? Do you stay with your teammate and finish 1-2, or do you risk it and go get the win yourself? And hopefully he finishes inside the top 3.
Daniel, I think that you go and you get after it, man. You get after it. You go for the win. You almost have to.
All right, so you see the pace lights are off on the pace car field all doubled up, ready to go here. Could be the final restart. We don't know, but I know it's going to be an exciting one. Get your soda, get your food, get your snack, wherever you are enjoying this race here on Sim Racing Media. We're glad to bring it to you here tonight from Talladega, Alabama. Alan, it's all yours.
All right, we got Corey Carell. We got Corey Carell there on the inside line. He's on the point. He's on the button as they bring him down to the Geico restart zone. And Corey Carell is off into the races as he crosses the start finish line. We have 9 laps, just 6 laps to go, I believe. 9 laps to go. As Jeremy Carter's going to fall right in line behind Andrew Teff. David Emig is on that inside line. David Emig is on the outside line there. I believe Andrew Teff. No, it's Andrew Teff on the outside line. I apologize. But the green stripes, they kind of all look the same as these guys got multiple green paint schemes, Daniel.
Seeing drivers moving left and right, bobbing, weaving, getting ready to set themselves up here for the final laps. But that 6 is going to be side by side with the 20 of Corey Carell, and Andrew Teff will lead that lap here as they're working on lap 88.
Yeah, and Andrew Teff's going to make his car about 5 lanes wide as Jeremy Carter's right on his back bumper. But don't look now, you got Corey Carell there. He's running P3 right now. And this whole gaggle of cars, it's anybody's race.
Working their way into turn number 3. The 20 of Corey Carell now got blocked by the 51.6 in turns 1 and 2. But they're going to have to try to make a different move to get around them.
As we're watching Corey Carell there, he's running P3. Jeremy Carter has fell back to P4. Oh, we got another caution. The yellow flag is out once again. As that was Paul Shaw, it looks like. Here we go. The replay. Josh Schoenbacher got into him. Ira Colehouse got a piece of it. Kinsley Smith got a piece of the action there too. And Daniel, I mean, that's just these guys going for it as we're in the late stages of the race here. Let's see what Kinsley Smith. There we go. We're gonna run this back because we caught the tail end of that one. Let's run it back just a little bit more. Here we go, Daniel. So here's
right.
Smith. And then it looked like Paul Shaw just come right up the racetrack, and then Kinsley Smith got a piece of the action there.
That's another driver, Alan, that really we thought would be running up inside the top 5, contending for a win tonight. But man, Kinsley Smith is just not having it. Neither is Austin John Smith. Those 2 strong drivers, man, they're struggling right now.
Yes, for sure. Well, we got a little bit of time. We're 88 laps. We're a little over 6 laps to go in the race here. 7 laps. I'll give or take a few laps. Let's bring in another driver. Let's see who we can chat with now. Let's see here. Who do we want to chat with? I think it might be too soon to chat with Kinsley Smith. So we're gonna chat with Michael Smith, who is currently running 5th. Michael Smith is down and Daniel up here in SRM booth. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
Well, we're on the closing end of this race here. We're on lap 89. We got 5 laps to go, and you find yourself sitting P2. What's your mindset here as we get closer to the end?
Just gonna help push my teammates towards the front.
All right. And are you gonna be content with riding in line, or are you gonna try to go for it if it comes
Uh,
down to it?
we'll see what happens on the very last lap.
All right. Well, we don't want to keep you too long, so we'll get you back down there with your team so you guys can get ready to go here on this what we would hope to be a final restart here.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And that was Michael Smith. So, like I said, Daniel, a tale of two strategies. As we got some guys that are content with just riding around, and then we got some drivers that just want to go for it.
You're gonna have drivers that are gonna want to go for it right away, but you don't want to make it too early, Alan. You don't want to make a move. Coming to the white flag, in my opinion, you would want to wait until maybe off of turn number 2, going down the back straightaway, get that run, get cleared into turn 3 and 4, hopefully hold them off. But if you're out front and you're on the white flag coming out of turn 4, heading into travel, check all lanes. I mean, if you have to go high, all the way high, go high. But remember, there's always that run on the inside that gets you. So it's gonna be a challenging one if you're leading that last lap.
So Daniel, we're coming to lap 90 of 94 here. So, I think they're gonna get doubled up, and we're gonna have about 3 laps to go when they get, come back to green, as they get doubled up actually right now. So
we are,
and
Alan, if a caution does come out again, you know what that means?
green, white, checkered,
Green, white, checkered.
NASCAR overtime, right?
Yes, sir.
So Andrew Tuft is on the point. He chose the outside, as he waited until the absolute last second to choose the inside or outside, but he's gonna choose the outside, as he's got his team. He's got Jeremy Carter back there, and I think Jeremy Carter is going to be his best bet, as Jeremy Carter drives a Chevrolet, but I think he's going to be Andrew Tuft's best bet.
Well, you got 2 teammates literally inside the top 10. So, I mean, if you're inside the top 10, I think you have a shot at it. If you're in 10th place, I know I started 10th place one time here with a green, white, checkered, and I got all the way up to 4th place by the white flag. Now I had a shot at it. So you have a good shot at it. You just gotta put the pieces together. Don't make a risky move if you think it's not gonna work, and let the race play itself out.
All right, Daniel. Well, this is your yard. This is your sandbox, so we're gonna let you bring him back to green one more time.
I don't know if it'll be the final time, Alan, but everybody's pumped up. I'm pumped up. You're pumped up. I know our producer John is pumped up. It's been an exciting show here tonight. Been fun broadcasting here at Talladega. The field in the hands of Andrew Taft and the 51 as they make their way into the tri-oval. Gonna get right on that Geico restart zone right here, and green flags in the air from Talladega. Let's get her done.
Andrew Taft jumps out to a big lead as they cross the start-finish line. He's going to drop down on the inside, and he's going to pick up David Emig there. And David Emig and Jeremy Carter's cars both look almost identical, as they both have a lot of green on their paint, or on their cars, as we're on lap 90. We got 3 to go here. And Daniel, we might see another one. Who knows?
Oh, look at that. They're all stacked up right there mid-pack. We're 3 wide, 3 by 3 by 3. And somehow we're keeping it straight as they come off at turn number 4. But man, this pack is getting really dicey. Here you see 26 of Jeremy Carter all over the place there, saying 3rd.
Jeremy Carter gets out of shape. David Emig is going to capitalize and move to P2. Alex Tuft is the only one that wants to see these cars 3 wide right now, Daniel. As we got a bunch of other cars going up there. Joshua Neal testing out the high line. Diego Rodriguez testing out the high line. Brad Hayes testing out the extreme high line.
The question is anybody else going to go to that third line? We're going to have to see, but it looks like, oh, wait. We got drivers up front. I think that's the 93 Zach Lockett. Oh, there's a car going to turn. That's the 27 Brad Hayes. He gets back up in the pack, and caution comes out. That means a green-white checkered.
Wow.
Green-white checkered, attempt number 1 coming our way. Let's take a look at this replay.
Say it wasn't so. Here, we're going to do this number here. We're going to go back to Zach Lockett here, or Brad Hayes, sorry. We're gonna take this back. We're gonna run this back here real quick. Just bear with us, as there was so many cars wrecking, the truck couldn't keep up. As he gets in there, I hope we didn't run it back too far. Here we go. Here's the point of contact. As you pointed out there, Daniel, Brad Hayes was on that extreme outside line as he jumps to the bottom of the racetrack. Diego Rodriguez was there, and it looks like I don't know who got collected there. I believe it was Thomas Stanley that got corrected, or that got collected in that exchange there in the 62 car. And we're gonna come back to Thomas Stanley there, as he got the worst end of this deal.
Let's take a look here on the 62 Thomas Stanley on this replay. I do believe he went up and over here in this wreck.
Yeah, right when Brad Hayes came down and he puts it on the lid, Daniel. I hope he is okay.
And he's gonna land on his wheels right there in turn 3. And you see that engine smoke, so he is done for that right there.
Yeah, so Daniel, I mean, now we're setting up for a green-white checkered, and this is what we saw last night in the Xfinity series, was a green-white checkered. So, I mean, I hope Thomas Stanley's all right, but nonetheless, Andrew Taft is still up in front. So, in the chat earlier, we asked who was going to win, and my pick right now is Andrew Taft. And I hope I did not put the announcer's jinx on him.
I'm gonna have to choose that 51 right there. The 51 has been up front basically all night long, has done an excellent job, and I think he can get the job done tonight here in that 51 Chevrolet. But the 62 of Thomas Stanley, really quick, that's not the first flip I've seen him have. If we go a couple of weeks back, even more, I do believe he did have a flip going down Indianapolis Motor Speedway, ended up in the catch fence. And he's been along for a long time, and let me tell you, he's had some violent wrecks here in this next gen series.
Yeah, Talladega has not been good to Thomas Stanley tonight. As we're watching, if you're looking at David Eming, and on the Xfinity series, Daniel, he's actually in the number 51 car. But tonight he's sporting a number deuce on that car. He's sporting a green deuce on the side of that Chevrolet, as he's found himself up in second position. We're getting ready to go green white checkers. These guys are getting doubled up pretty quick. So unfortunately, we're not going to have time to talk to a driver right now, as these guys are getting doubled up and getting ready for a green white checkered finish.
Well, it's simple. I'll go over the overtime rules really quick here, guys. So these drivers, they're doubling up right now. They're going to get that green flag. They have to come back around this track, get that white flag without wrecking. If they wreck before the white flag, we will do it all over again, re-rack them, and we will try it again and hopefully finish. If they do get the white flag and they wreck, whoever's out front wins this race. So pretty simple. If we get to the white flag, it's official. If we don't get to the white flag, we do it all over again.
All right, Daniel. And the lights are out atop of the iRacing.com pace car. Andrew Tuft again choosing that outside line, which paid dividends for him on that last restart. But once we crossed the start finish line, they drove off into turn one. Daniel, he jumped right to the bottom. So now on this restart, he's got to make his car 5 lanes wide.
It's
5
going
lanes
to be a
wide. He's got to
challenge.
make the car.
It's going to be a challenge. I'm going to say that. It's going to be a challenge. But just going to have to see who finishes out on top here. You see that sun setting, and now some parts of the track now actually in shade, and some actually left in the sun. So it's really hard when you're entering turn number 3 right now with that sun just glaring in your eyes.
All right, Daniel. Once again, this is your sandbox, so we'll let you bring these guys back to green for the green first attempt at a green-white checker.
Pace vehicle is making its way off. We are in Racers Elite Next Gen Cup Series overtime here at Talladega, Alabama. Who gets it done? Will it be the 51? Will it be the 6? Or will it be another driver that we don't even know who it would be? As you see the drivers making their way into the Geico restart zone, green flags in the air, and we're underway here from Talladega in overtime.
Andrew Tuft gets the whole shot coming out of the Geico restart zone. Jeremy Carter right behind him in P2 as the inside line is going to get the jump. John Schollenbachler, he's on the outside line running P3 as Jeremy Carter is going to jump to the lead on the outside line right now. Andrew Tuft is the low man out.
Oh,
as we got keep her straight. Keep her straight.
Oh, that's the 3 of Gordon Spain. Sorry to cut you off, Alan, but there was a lot of contact there. I thought they were going to wreck.
All Jeremy Carter and Andrew Tuft's got to do is be the first one to cross the start finish line. And then once we take the white flag, this race is over. Andrew Tuft is back out to the lead. David Emming is right behind him. So now they cross the start finish line. Whatever happens from here on out, we're racing back to the line as we have the white flag. Andrew Tuft
pushes. Look how far out. Look how far out they are, but watch that 51. He's going to make a move. They're wrecking in the back. That's the 56. That's the 57. Jason Bombs. We are still going here. And let me tell you, there's going to be a run here coming from that 51. I'm telling you right now. Watch that outside. Watch Jeremy Carter in the 26. They got the outside line going. That 51's going to have to do something here.
We're racing back. Does Jeremy Carter have enough?
He's going to go to the outside. He has to go to the outside.
There's a trial. It's going to be a drag race. No one can make a move. Andrew Tuft at the line. Andrew Tuft at the line.
Wow.
What a finish.
Maybe a few more feet. That 51 would have probably had a photo finish with that 6. Maybe a few more feet.
Andrew Tuft at the line. Man, I'm out of breath after watching that last lap.
It was an exciting race all night long. And Alan, your guy, you won.
My pick.
Your pick won.
It was Alex Tuft scoring the victory in the Xfinity Series. Tonight, it is Andrew Tuft that's going to get to celebrate as David Emming finishes second. Brandon Zimmerman finishes third. That being said, Daniel, man, oh man, I gotta catch my breath.
My heart was racing that last lap. There was so much going on that last lap. They're wrecking on the backstretch, and I'm trying to focus on the top 3, and it was difficult there because I didn't know who to focus on. And I mean, if that 51 would have pulled out probably a little bit earlier and went to that high line, that 6 car would have had to stay down low, and that 51 probably could have won. But great racing all around.
All right. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and start our post-race interviews with our top 3. So we're gonna go ahead and get we'll go ahead and start with for our first place finisher tonight, and we're gonna go ahead and start with Andrew Tuft.
I haven't
Daniel,
actually looked yet.
Daniel, you got Andrew Tuft in the booth with you.
Andrew, you won
There.
here at the biggest track, Talladega. Please tell us, race fans and broadcasters, what it was like coming to that white flag, leading that last lap.
Pretty nerve-wracking, but I'm glad I had Dave there to help me out. It's been quite a drought, so good feeling.
So how was the race throughout the whole race? How was your car handling? Was the draft very strong tonight?
You know, it was a lot different than last night. Last night you could go 3 wide a lot easier, so you could make up a lot more ground a lot quicker. Here you had to be a lot more planful because it took a lot longer to make it through the pack. The cars were sort of I don't know, just more wobbly side by side, so it was tougher to put it 3 wide in the middle without wrecking somebody. Or we were able to pass a bunch of guys on the top line once, but it was pretty sketchy. So but yeah, just a lot more 2 wide than last night, so I had to be more thoughtful.
Yeah, and we saw those pushes that were really aggressive, and we saw some pushes gone wrong there. Can you give race fans an explanation on how that can happen very easily here on a super speedway, where a car could come up to you, push you, and you're automatically like turned around and wrecked?
Yeah, it's you have to be pretty square, perfectly aligned. If you drag the nose horizontally on the guy's bumper in front of you, you're gonna spin them. So it's a lot of throttle control, making sure you're nudging when you're pointed straight and you're both square, and it's a lot of dancing, and it's probably why I work so well with my brothers. Just we've had so much practice at it and kind of know each other's ticks, like I was saying before.
All right. Well, congratulations on a podium here tonight from Talladega. And do you have any sponsors, fans, family you would like to thank?
Yeah, I wanted to give my mom a shout out. Her cat passed away the other day, so thoughts with her. My family for letting me play all the time. Our servicemen and women, you guys for putting on the show. Everybody that tunes in to watch, comes out to race. It's been a great time, and got a Daytona 500 event coming up on the 18th, right before the real race. So if you're interested in racing, come check us out. It's $10 to get in. Top 3 get prizes, so should be a good show.
Well, congratulations once again, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Right. We're gonna take him back, and then we're gonna bring down David Emmy. David, this is Sam and Al in the booth. How you doing, buddy? David Emmy, you got a copy? No, David. David, this is Alan, and David, you got a copy? I don't think he hears us. So what we'll do, send him back. We'll circle back to David, and we'll go ahead and get Brandon Zimmerman in the booth, Daniel. He's in the waiting room there. He's ready to go.
All right. Our third place finisher here tonight, Brandon Zimmerman. And Brandon, how is your night going tonight?
It went pretty good, man. I can't really complain. Always happy with the top 3, man.
Well, it was an exciting race. I'm sure it was exciting down there behind the driver's wheel for you tonight. But were you expecting to get a top 3 finish here tonight?
I was not. My plan was to ride in the back, and then I lost the draft, and we had that very long green flag run. I thought I was just going to be stuck in 20th the whole night, but we got the caution, was able to catch back up, and I got very lucky to dodge some wrecks, and I was able to, make it out unscathed there.
Very, very lucky to not get involved in many wrecks here tonight from Talladega. But What was it like? How was your car handling from start to finish? Were there any changes throughout the drivers around you that you've raced from the beginning to the end? And tell us, fans, how was the aggression level here tonight?
It got crazy at the end there. It was very respectful, very laid back, and then after that first caution, it was all out. 3 wide, bumping the bang in, a lot of checking up. Like I said, I'm just very lucky I was able to get through everything because there was a few times I thought for sure that this was going to be my last lap.
Well, you made it, my friend, to the top 3. Do you have anybody you would like to thank here tonight from Talladega?
Yeah, shout out to you guys for putting this on and broadcasting everything. Shout out to Racer Elites. I just joined a couple weeks ago. Seems to be a good league. And Roasted Gems Coffee for being my sponsor.
Well, congratulations on getting a top 3 here. We'll see you next week, and have a good one.
Yes, sir. You have a good night.
All right, Daniel. So, we had David Emig in the booth, but I guess he could not hear us. So we were gonna circle back to him. He is no longer in the chat here. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and get the race results here.
Yeah.
We get those going.
All
Here
right.
and
Well, whenever you're ready, Alan, I can start this.
all right. So Daniel, I'm gonna go ahead and kick the race results off. At the end of 98 laps, we got Andrew Tuff finishes P1. David Emig finishes second. Brandon Zimmerman brings it home third. Corey Corral brings it home fourth. Excuse me. Let's see here. We got Jeremy Carter brings it home with the top 5. Michael Smith brings it home P6. Diego Rodriguez, he finishes P9 or P7. That's a good run for Diego Rodriguez. Truce Hoke finishes P8. Zach Lockett brings it home 9th. 10th is Michael Brooks. And Daniel, I'll let you take it from 11th through 21st.
All right. Well, just finishing outside 10th place, we're going to have the 82 of Josh O'Neill. 12th place, Joan Schaumbachler. 13th place, Gordon Spain. Gordon Spain has been up in the front, but got collected in multiple instances tonight. Did not have the night that he wanted. And it's going to go home with a wrecked race car. All right. Finishing 14th, we have Dwayne 14th, we're going to have Dwayne McMahon. 15th, Brandon Puffenbarger. 16th, Brandon Honeycutt. 17th, Aaron Kohlhaas. 18th, Marshall Harris. 19th, Noah Tansman. 20th, Paul Shaw. 21st, Jason Bottoms. And Alan, you can wrap us up here on the finishing results.
Daniel, I'm going to go ahead and let you finish this out, buddy.
Okay. All right. After Jason Bottoms finishing 22nd, Thomas Stanley had some big wreck late in the race, and he went airborne up and over, but thankfully he landed on his wheels. 23rd, Brad Hayes. 24th, Alex Teff. 25th, Dennis Kane went lap down early on in this race. So has the Kensley Smith in the 15 machine, finishing 26th. And rounding out the field, our last week's winner at Michigan is Austin Smith, finishing 27th. And that is your finishing results here from Talladega. And man, it's been an exciting event here tonight.
Yeah, it absolutely has. I know I shouldn't say absolutely. Not have anything relevant to say. But I'm looking forward to going to Auto Club, and it's gonna be a blast. So now we're gonna take a look at the points as they stand, and we should see that come up just right. Okay, so we need There we go. And I believe that should show the current points now, right? Okay. So I'm looking forward to getting to Auto Club next week, Daniel, as we are
Mm-hmm.
set for the last two races of the season.
Hard to believe that the season's almost over. We're gonna go to Auto Club next week, and Auto Club, remember, in real life, it's no longer a 2 mile track. It's gonna be a nice little short track if it ever becomes one. But Auto Club performs great racing, but the tires get chewed away a lot there from the old surface. But I'm looking forward to Auto Club next week.
All right, Daniel. So now we have the point standings as they stand right now. And as they stand right now, Daniel Brandon Poffenbarger, or I'm sorry, as they stand right now, Corey Krell's going to take over the points lead heading into Auto Club with Brandon Poffenbarger in second position in points. Zach Lockett's third in points right now. And Brandon Honeycutt is in fourth position in points right now. So fifth place in points will be Kinsley Smith. Brad Hayes is going to be sixth in points. Seventh points will be Jeremy Carter. Eighth in points is Andrew Test. Ninth in points will be Gordon Spain, and Alex Test is going to round that top 10 in points. So the gap Daniel, between Corey Corral in first place points, who has 2,127 points, is almost a 27-point difference.
It's a big difference, and you're gonna have to work really hard if you want to shrink that down. But I just don't know if there's gonna be enough time. But they're gonna perform really, really well next week, and I can't wait for that.
So Daniel, any final thoughts as we close out the night here at Talladega and head to Auto Club?
Well, coming into Talladega, we knew it was gonna be an exciting event. We had an exciting event. We had a caution early on in this race. Had that long green flag run once we started that first restart of the night. I saw some great pit stops, not a lot of mistakes going on. But then we started having one caution after maybe every 5 to 10 laps. But that was because, it was getting time to start racing, real racing going on. Seeing a lot of drivers use different lanes, being a little more aggressive, bumps gone wrong, drivers going up in the airborne. I mean, it provided tonight. It really did. And I couldn't expect any more. We almost saw a photo finish at the line between the Andrew Teft in the 6 and David in the 51. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better tonight, but I know Auto Club is going to perform very well, and they're going to put on a great show, but it's going to be even more intense because we're getting closer and closer to crowning a champion. And these drivers are fighting everything that they have in them.
Well, all right. So that's going to do it here from Talladega, Alabama. I had fun. Daniel had fun. And Daniel, I look forward to, calling some more races with you throughout, even next season as we close out. But nonetheless, that's gonna do it for us tonight here in Talladega, Alabama. So with that being said, I want to thank SRM and the great teammates here that we have as we close out the show. And as you walk through life, please don't play in traffic.